2 years ago, 2 years have passed since Mother had her aneurysm or stroke, and things have really changed. I mean, that's a day that will be etched in my mind. Of course, we were down there with some friends of ours down for the weekend at Mom and Dad's house, and we had went fishing that day. Mother was cooked us hamburgers the night before, actually, for on that Sunday, and we went fishing on Monday. Dad left that morning, headed out, and just kind of a normal time. And that evening, we were actually going into Sulphur, going to go eat at a Mexican place before we headed back home. And typically, when down there out fishing, and Mom or Dad will call periodically throughout the day, see if fish are biting or whatever. And that particular day, neither one of them did. Of course, Dad was traveling, and he was headed back east, and left about 7 o'clock that morning. Got up, had breakfast with him before he left, and we fished to I think it was about 6 o'clock. We came in. I was putting the boat up, and backing it in. Jordyn, she went on the side of the house, and I hear her holler at me, "Come in. Something's wrong with Grandma." And of course, I scooted on over there, and she was laying in the floor, and lifeless from a distance. But as I got over to her, tell her eyes were open, figured out pretty quickly that it probably was a stroke. And what's odd, for whatever reason, I just felt I was calm, concerned, I guess, but calm. Was never frantic. Of course, we called for an ambulance, and I'm debating on whether to, scoop her up and head on towards Sulphur. But I thought best we called for an ambulance, and, being way out from Sulphur, I thought they got there rather quickly. Other folks there thought it took forever, and, I think it was 15 or 20 minutes, which in a situation like that seems like an eternity. But they scooped her up and got her on out of there, put her on a helicopter, flew her up to Norman. And that's when Mandy and I, we make the drive up there. And of course, during that time, I've called Sherry, or Mandy called Sherry actually, and told her what happened. And so her awareness diminished really quickly. So that's why I've always felt that aneurysm had just happened in my mind. And I thought that I felt she saw us pull in the driveway. She'd been working at her desk, and had got up to come greet us, see if we caught any fish or whatever, and then went down. Lots of other little cues make me believe that, but like I said, when I first got to her, she was really alert, I guess would be the word, but you could tell she had a frantic look on her face, and that dwindled as time went on. She tried to speak a time or two, really couldn't make anything out. But during the whole time, I felt a sense of calm, and didn't get excited, of course I was worried. That's my mother laying there. But like I said, they got her up to Norman, and Mandy and I headed that way. Of course, we got there. We have the chaplains call us from the OU Med Center there. Of course, when the chaplain calls, you think that's the worst thing possible. She quickly explained she was the liaison between the doctors and the family. And, of course, just got phone calls, different people giving us different things. Need more questions. But anyway, you probably heard all of this. We get there. Dad, he turns around from where he is, drives all night back. And probably out of the whole thing, out of the situation, I have seen a side of my father I've never seen. And, even with the passing of his father, his mother, he was sad, that they were gone, that they passed, but I've never seen him so worried about a situation. And hurt, and just, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a side of my father I've never seen. And I can only imagine, we have a love for our parents. We have a love for our kids. But our spouse, who they've spent over 50 years together, that's just a bond that I can only imagine how he felt. And really, the whole thing gonna sound kind of weird. I hurt more for him than I did for Mom in those first few days, and how much he prayed to God, and how much he relied on God for strength. But I hurt for him more during those first few days, first few weeks. We didn't know the outcome of it, but to see the hurt in him really hurt me more than anything. But, and on that, as we've come down this road, we're 2 years from that, and just like that was a side of my father I don't think I've ever seen. The things he's done since then, I have never seen, never would have imagined. I mean, he was always a good provider, a good father, a good husband, but I wouldn't, if he's one that if you had a cut, he's not the one that would have put a Band-Aid on you, or at least that I remember anyway. But the way he has stepped up and cared for Mother, and I hesitate to say stepped up because I don't think that's the right word, but it's just been neat to see. I don't want to say amazing, surprising, whatever, but it's just neat to see how he takes care of her. And, he's always loved her, always cared for her. But I never thought I would see my father be a caregiver. Now, I've heard him say he's not a caregiver, but it's obviously the ones we love in our life, we do what we're going to have to. And through the whole situation, I've told lots of people this, that's the thing that's really been neat to see. And, how what I thought my dad was or is, there's a whole different side to him that I'd never seen, even in my, 52 years now, 50 years at the time, I guess, that I'd never seen that before. And not that he didn't care for people, not that he didn't worry about them, but to be that caregiver, take care of Mother, whatever it is, that has been a neat thing to see, and proves that we do what we have to for those that love us. And obviously, I mean, it's changed the whole dynamics of our family. Fortunately, Sherry, that working from home, she's able to do that when Dad's traveling. I remember those first few nights, what are we going to do? What are we going to do for Dad? He's going to have help. We're going to have to get somebody to help him do this. And he's proved us all wrong. I mean, he's had some help. He's learned a lot of things, and that Mother always did, and he's learned how to do them. And he hadn't been scared to do that. But my sister, I mean, she's amazing how she's just stepped up. She's always been a caregiver. I mean, through my grandma Lizzie, my grandma Betty's, in months during their deals with cancer. Her and Mother both was there, and my mother was the same way. So she had a good teacher on that aspect. But the way to see it, she takes care of her, and it wears on her, it wears on Dad. And, I have had some opportunity to take care of my mother for short spells. Nothing near like my sister does, and I was just so thankful for her. And I remember, one of the first times that, once Mother was home and I stayed with her, that, I told her, I said, who'd ever thought, I'd be helping you use the restroom or getting dressed or just doing those things that you don't think about having to do to your parents. And she just smiled, and of course, I think she's sad in the sense that I have to, but thankful that God has given us that tight-knit family that that we're able to, all our jobs, we're able to make it work. And, like I said, I know Dad's so thankful for Sherry and what she's able to do. And I try to spell her occasionally. And I have to say I'm thankful for Jack, just in general, totally. I don't know when he married my sister that he knew what he was getting into with just the whole family. I mean, we've taken over his house, essentially, with Mother. He's made modifications, but he's been a godsend. Not only for our whole family during this situation, but, for Sherry, for sure. I mean, lots of things that, had we not had Jack being a doctor in there, said, hey, you need to ask this, need to find this out. I can see how families would say, oh, okay, that's what's best. And that, maybe not get a second opinion, but Jack's like, hey, can we do this? I know this person that's this specialty. And I really think that he's a big part in where Mother is today. And people always ask how Mother is. And I said, well, she's really pretty healthy. Despite, being paralyzed on the right side, her speech is getting better. It seems like every time I see her, and I really attribute a lot of the progress she made, not only to God's healing power, but that how Jack's helped us navigate this, and I'm so thankful for him. And I know I haven't told him that enough, but not only how he takes care of my sister, but how he's just taking our whole family in. But yeah, the dynamics of our family's changed, and I have to say it's not quite the same going down to see Mom and Dad, and because when you go down there, Mother, she tried and spoil you for sure. And I know Sherry and Richard or whoever, they may say she tried to spoil me more, and that may be so, but I am the baby of the family, so I should be spoiled more. But, we've made it work, and it's definitely been a challenge. And as far as I'm concerned in our family, I think it's been one of the biggest challenges we've seen. Dad may not agree with that. Sherry may not agree with that. I don't know. But in my mind's eye, it has. I mean, I've always heard of other families having this issue and this issue, but God has blessed us very well, and I think this was a blessing from God. We often don't say, "Hey, God, thanks for giving my mom an aneurysm." I wish she'd not done that, but lives have been touched because of it, and I think lives have been changed because of it. And I'm one. I tell people all the time, our blessings aren't always the things that we think are good for us. We like those blessings, but we can find a blessing in everything. And I know Dad, he talks about going out, be different, turn a bad into good. And that's what it is. If we have a flat tire, it's a blessing for some reason. We may not know why. It may have kept us from being in a car crash down the road. And this aneurysm stroke with Mother, it's a blessing. I don't understand it, but I have a peace about it. And I'm just thankful that God holds us close when we have these situations. Thank y'all for praying for my family. Thank you for lifting Mom up, for Dad up in your prayers. Please keep doing that, and give Dad that strength. And it's wearing on him. It has weared on him. He's getting a smooth pace now, but it's been an experience for sure. And Dad says she's going to walk again someday. I think that is. We'll see that someday as well. Maybe here, maybe on the other side of glory when we see her walking. But God is in control. He's got her by the hand, and we'll just be sure and praise Him for whatever He's got in store for you. Thank y'all for listening.